The wind has picked up quite a bit, but most importantly, the rain is gone. Courts are dry. Sun's a bit out. We've had the court facility lights on almost every day here just to help brighten up things in this kind of non-traditional March weather here in Austin. But game one about to begin in this semifinal. Great leave there from Zane and Christian, starting to create a lot of pressure in and around the kitchen right at the gate. Fed shared before the match. He had watched Zane and Christian take on the Johns. Ready for that Alshon speed up. Wow. Turning defense into offense. Zane handling a tough net cord, but if you notice how fast they can get back to the baseline to put themselves in a position just to reset. Incredible stuff. That sail's just a tad out. Zane missing there, but probably one of the top 3 men's players when it comes to the force shot, creating pressure off that, whether it's out of the air or the bounce. That ball lands in. Fed covering middle so far pretty well. I think Zane was expecting that to come back, just misses it on the put away. Beautiful backhand ATP by Federico there. Great counter there from Alshon. Sitting backhand ready for Fed to bring that cross court again. Silky smooth from Alshon. He's been putting in the work to create off his forehand, not just obviously on his drive with his tennis background, but in and around the kitchen. He is not afraid to pull that trigger and to create pressure. These teams, to me, really represent kind of the new modern class of pickleball player in terms of they're true athletes, whether they have a tennis background or not, but their movement is fast, it's athletic, it's efficient. They obviously have the strokes of kind of, you know, what pickleball requires for touch and resets and dinks, but they also have the power, and they can do crash and bash, they can poach, and they're shifty. So it's a really fun matchup here between these two. Zane and Christian electing to play heads up, not stacking or having to unwind. Feeling confident about, I think, giving a variety of looks from both sides of the court. Okay, Christian and Zane not afraid to go down the line right now on Federico's backhand. They're looking to create on that angle. Can't tell if Pablo's trying to do a little too much or he's confused by a potential out call, but either way, Zane and Christian will take that. This match surely has small margins. Good serve with a bit of a fortunate bounce there, but that's a 3-point run now for Zane and Christian on the first serve. Athletic play there by Pablo, but Fed leaves that soft high ball in. Can't really do much about that. Fed and Pablo electing to take a timeout here to try to stem a little bit of the momentum that Zane and Christian have accumulated right now here in game one. Zane and Christian electing to certainly bring a little bit of pressure on the third shot drive, poaching off of that, or at least having a physical presence up at the net. And again, similar to yesterday when they took down Ben and Colin, not afraid to initiate and speed up with balls in and around the kitchen, especially on that forehand. Zane's unique in his ability to create off the bounce with his two-handed backhand, but Christian has really developed some sneaky skill on the forehand speed up. That's the third or fourth block of a drive that's sailed into the net. I'm not quite sure what's causing that, but Alshon and Zane's drives extremely topspin heavy. Makes you hit up on that from below the net, which is always tricky. 9-3-1. They're rolling. Okay, back-to-back stops there, so Fed and Pablo earning the side out with this 6-point deficit here in game one. That would have been the third ball Fed's left over his head that landed in. Happy for him that it did proceed to land out. Okay, Zane and Christian only giving up 2 points there, but electing to take a timeout, trying to manage the momentum and number of unforced that they're giving up currently. In terms of wind, the wind screens here at the facility are doing a pretty good job of controlling as best as possible, but Zane and Christian are into the wind, so if there's any scrambling resets, they'll probably elect to do some defensive lobs up and over Pablo, as they've already been doing. Fed to serve. Good recovery there from Zane, bailing out Christian, who started a hands battle. He probably is not going to win. And that return sails into the net. Wow, what a volley. Great drive from Pablo, amazing volley from Christian. Zane a little risky with the middle speed up there. First tomahawk of this game, brought to you by Zane Navratil. Oh, Fed, not happy, a little frustrated again with another softball landing in, but game point is on the paddle of Zane. Ooh, tough serve, had Fed kept back, unwinding the stack. He was not going to get there if that was coming over the net. Great coverage there from Fed. I think he's 4 for 5 with some forehand counters in the middle right now. That drive crunched by Zane. Leaving anything up like that against the guys of this caliber will certainly lead to some punishment. Beautiful ATP, held it a long time. Good defense by Zane, but Fed 2 for 2. Timeout but now the sun's a bit out. The courts are dry and everyone's turning back into a gamer. There's some smiles. The fans are here. It's a great atmosphere. The length of Alshon there. He's both long, but he also plays long. He's not afraid to step over, move to his right, create a lot of pressure. Overcooked that one a little bit, but great athletic pressure there by Zane. Not often you see a 3rd shot, 5th shot, and a 7th shot drive, but Alshon would be one of the people to pull that out. Ooh, Zane had shifted to try to cover middle. I mean, hitting such a soft roll is such a high level of difficulty. You're caught up in the point, the pressure. Great job there from Fed. Ooh. Zane with the step back two-hander. Pablo reads it well, crashes to the middle with his forehand. He's been watching the tape. Tied up. Nifty speed up there by Pablo. Fed finishes, and just like that, they've got game point. 12-11. Oh, Fed's forehand is a rock right now.
At Pickleball Central, we're all about you.
Your pickleball journey.
We've got the largest selection of
Paddles, nets,
shoes,
balls,
Accessories,
and more.
the lowest prices.
guaranteed.
Find it cheaper somewhere else?
We'll match it.
Don't love it?
Send it back.
Our world-class customer service.
We'll take care of you.
Plus, every dollar you spend
earns you discounts on future orders.
for all your pickleball needs,
Trust the experts.
The experts.
we're here for you.
Pickleball Central.
Game 2, let's go. Fed, I've never seen Fed go woo, but he did. Well deserved. Third ATP for Pablo and Fed there. Off to an early start after getting in a hole in game 1. Risky Ernie pays off for Pablo. Fed and Pablo got tied up there. Pablo had to play the left, but good first side out for them. Zane and Christian were up. They were driving. Blocks were in the net. There's a few lucky kind of volleys fall in, but Fed and Pablo finding their juice right now. The winner of this will go to the finals and either take on J.W. Johnson and Dylan Frazier or Andre Diescu and Matt Wright. They're in an intense 3-game battle on championship court as we speak. Wow, beautiful blocks and resets there from Pablo. Gets a little bit of a gift and punishes that one. Fed really happy with the inputs into that, not necessarily the outcome, but wants to do that more. Wow, Pablo's reset on that Zane overhead was incredible, but that earns Zane and Christian a side out. I think they need to start channeling a little bit more of the patient play they exhibited yesterday when they took down Ben and Colin. Pablo and Fed are, as the younger generation would say, dialed right now. Beautiful pressure dink there from Alshon. Okay, some patient play there. I think in game 1, Zane would have ripped that. Just letting Pablo and Fed make balls, put the pressure on them. There we go. 3-point run now for the 8th seed. Christian electing to do a little Thomas Wilson-esque running around the forehand on the, or sorry, running around the backhand on the, running around the backhand to hit forehands, even in around the kitchen, certainly has worked for him, but creates some gaps sometime. And that hands exchange lands out. So 4-point run now. Zane and Christian in the lead. Game 2, need to clench game 2 to force game 3 if they want to see championship Sunday night or Monday. Wow. Pablo and Fed wanted Christian to be hitting backhands, and he did until he did. And that's what Fed and Pablo want. They want to earn a pop-up there from Alshon's backhand. They earn that side out. Never take blocks for granted. Zane rolling that ball back down at Fed's feet. It would be way easier to just kind of block that ball 6 feet in front of him, but he elects to apply pressure. That forehand poach from Alshon just a bit too strong, but I like it. He's got it in his bag for sure. A ball that would have definitely gone out, but even at any level, it's a ball worth hitting. It's a little self-defense, and Pablo's a gamer. He wanted to crunch that back down to Christian. Beautiful third shot there from Zane. Too tough to handle for Pablo. Pablo and Fed continuing to make Alshon hit balls from that left-hand corner. Tough sequence there. Zane's reset says a little high. Great play by Fed. Or excuse me, Pablo. Smooth leave there from Christian. I think that gets a piece of Zane, so that epic hands battle gives Pablo and Fed an equalizing point there at 6-6. Zane, a local Austin pro. A lot of friends and family here in the first few rows surrounding this grandstand court right now. You can overhear Zane saying he likes it. Always encouraging. Alshon and Navratil not able to get themselves out of that pickle. Oh my. Wow, an incredible dig from Pablo on the Alshon Ernie that was hit hard. I don't know how he got that back. Fed getting challenged down the line. It worked on him in game 1, but crunching that back to Zane. Wow, and that's the new class of pickleball I was talking about. Just incredible range and touch. Pablo a little out of position there. Late to that Zane middle speed up. So we're all tied at 7-7. Game 2 here in this men's semifinal. And that, Fed saying, don't worry, I got you, but that sails out. It's a tough miss there. Zane misfiring on a few of his classic hybrid drives here, so I think Pop and Fed a little lucky to get out of there without more points against them. Pablo said, bring it. Ends up punishing that speed up after the hands exchange. Fed and Pablo forcing him to make a lot of balls there. Fed and Pablo trying to sell that. But Zane and Alshon quickly on the same page as to what happened there. So that ball lands out. Second serve here for Fed and Pablo. That backhand lands in the net. So we've got match point here in this semifinal. Great overhead to get the side out. I think the fans they need it. They need game 3 here on Grandstand. Zane split out wide to his right. Fed sensed that, hits it right down the middle. So 8-10-2. There we go. Alshon forehand sends that back to Pablo's paddle and face. One away from tying it up. Whoa! Clip it! Pablo with a great Ernie, but Zane with an even better blocking reset that lands in to tie this up as they try to get game 2. And that dink lands wide. So in a snap of our fingers, there is game point on the paddle of Christian and Zane, who fought off match point. Whoa! And the local Austinite, Zane Navratil, ties it up.
The official ball of the PPA Tour.
Alshon, Zane had nothing to say about that with a leaping two-handed reset. Ooh, a little shoulder shimmy, Gabe Tardio-esque there from Zane. It held it. Pablo and Fed have been here before. They've gone to quite a few intense competitive men's doubles matches. Zane and Christian certainly accomplished in their own right, but a bit newer as a partnership. Electing to keep Zane here on the left-hand side. Christian had been struggling on the backhand in the kitchen. We'll see if that continues. Good hands exchange there. So
right back, come on.
Back at it, 1-2. Really tough to appreciate just how much pressure that reach in volley dink from Zane has on it, but gets people out of position, and that's Pablo's backhand too. And that sails out. So this looks a little bit like game 1, some unforced by Pablo and Fed, giving Christian and Zane some momentum.
Right here.
That third from Zane not able to find a safe space. So Zane struggled in game 2 with the thirds, but turned it on kind of points 8-9 through 12. Pablo being a beast in the middle there. Wind at the backs of Christian and Zane, so be surprised if they don't potentially start to drive and get a shorter fifth ball to reset and advance up. Fed's third ATP of the day, but that one sails into that Selkirk net. So good patient point there by Christian and Zane. Athletic by Fed not to step or make contact with the net. Great Ernie, gives a nice confident look back to Pablo. Okay, this just in, the other semifinal has concluded. Andre Diescu and Matt Wright take game 3 against J-Dub and Dylan Frazier. So they're on to the finals. Diescu's hot hand continues. Game 3 will decide who will play that formidable veteran duo. Alshon with a smile and a pump. Just a very high IQ, nifty move to see where Fed was leaning. Put that back behind him. Wow. The Zane two-hander, one of the more lethal attacks that you know is coming. Very hard to defend. Stave that off for some more high-level pickleball. Athletic Ernie there. No shot for Pablo or Fed to get a paddle on that one. Timeout may have given him a bit of a breather, but leads to no points. So we're back to 3-3.
Okay, right back.
Zane on the left-hand side here. Let's see if he can step those thirds up. Beautiful sequence there from Alshon, the drive-drop combo.
Dale, dale.
Beautiful heads-up play there from Pablo. That's why they say that lefties on the right-hand side are the future of the game.
Come on, use it.
Alshon and Navratil struggling a little bit to get into the kitchen. Zane ready for that one with his scorpion pancake-esque grip ready, but that sails out. That dink left up by Christian. Good rip there from the outstretched Federico. Wow, Federico has brought a lot of aggressive pressure here in this string. Speaking of drives not being met appropriately, that shake and bake punishing Pablo's drive. Man, if Fed got that one, he's been on a heater.
Here, get it back. Come on.
Ooh, Fed read it right, kind of jumped the corner to protect that down the line shot, but that's out. 2-point deficit now. Wow, strong serve had Fed really off balance in that short return, but they managed to get away with it. Zane, you could hear Zane saying great pull. I don't know if I would classify that, but it did work out. The step back, forehand speed up pays off for him. Wow, quick side out. So Alshon and Navratil worked their way out of a late hole in game 2 to force it to game 3.
Una más.
Wow, Zane here on the left-hand side, hoping their team make a lot more backhand dinks, ready for that Pablo speed up. Only down by 1. The rain has started here, so it's going to be a tight window to finish this game 3. Wow. Zane's resets there, get them back into the kitchen to win that hands battle.
Right here.
Wow. What a great retrieval off the net from Fed. For game 3 of this semifinal match, the winner of this will go to the finals in men's dubs to take on Andre Daescu and Matt Wright. Oh, not the way you want to end it there. Amazing get by Alshon, sprinting up to the kitchen. That sails into the net. So Alshon back on the left-hand side, had been slightly targeted by Fed and Pablo for for that backhand that he's been running around. Zane saying, what can you do on that? Just admire the greatness there by Fed. Tied up. Oh, that half volley almost found its way over the net. So effective rain delay / timeout for Fed and Pablo, stemming the big run from Zane and Christian. That poach, very successful. Ball heads into the bleachers, so we'll get a brand new Vulcan here to conclude game 3. As the draws have tightened up and obviously started to conclude, a lot of the fans interested in pro pickleball gathering here on Grandstand. Little taste of their own medicine. That net cord winner brings them to 10. So match point here for Zane and Christian. Another a reversal mirror image of a net cord winner there. So second match point for Alshon and Navratil. Wow. Beautiful scrambling resets. Big time shot by Pablo, putting that down and through the middle. Gets him a chance. Wow, overhead by Alshon. Fed continues to slam the tennis net. That's okay with me, but tough point there as they're down by 1.
It's okay, come on. Eso, una más, dale.
Wow, great out call by Zane there, so they get match point number 3 on their paddle here in this semifinal. Wow, big win for Christian and Zane, taking down the number 3 seed. They beat Ben and Colin Johns yesterday.